Morning. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always, guys, if you are new and you haven't heard, Elevating Trades does have a Discord channel, so make sure you go check it out. Completely free to join. The link to that is at the top of the chat. Can't miss it. And there will be discount opportunities there when we do launch, so make sure you check it out so you don't miss out. And of course, there are discussions there. You can join in with other traders, including myself, share opinions, look at different music. Apologies, people. I'm so forgetful this week. What's going on? But yeah, check out Elevated Trading Discord. Completely free to join. Discount opportunities there, and of course, you can join discussions, share trading opportunities. I share opportunities I'm looking at, and share your opinion. So if you're interested, feel free to join. Link to that is at the top of the chat. But yeah, apologies about that, people. Hopefully you did hear me. But good morning, Brian. Welcome to the stream. Karis, good morning. Hope you're well. Dark Sean, welcome to the stream. Tashi, good morning. Welcome to the stream. So I haven't seen much since we last spoke. Yeah, not much has happened. We do have CPI this afternoon, so that will be very, very interesting to see what happens with USD. Although USD is pretty strong. Last time I had a look, yeah, it's still pushing higher. So looks like dollar strength probably is here to stay, but CPI will have a big part to say in that. In terms of me, I'm still in my two positions from a couple of weeks ago, still holding on to Aussie CHF. Bit more retracement for this one yesterday. We had another push to the upside, but my break even is still intact around 0.85164. So for me, again, let the trade do what it needs to do. I'm giving it the room it needs to breathe. If it is going to tag me out break even, so be it. If it is going to have a continuation, fantastic. I'll look to trail, and hopefully you can see a push back down to that low around 0.56167. So that is still the plan with Aussie CHF. It's looking okay, but still a long way to go. In terms of pound yen, that one had a bit of a move to the upside yesterday, but still has not taken me out the trade yet. So I'm just going to let the market do its thing. It's been a long hold. Stop loss is above the high. So if it is going to take it, I'll let it take it. I still do think pound yen is going to push to the downside. Still pretty bearish on the market, despite the up move, and we'll go through some other yen pairs in a moment, but I am still bearish on the yen pairs, but I'm just going to let the trade do what it needs to do. If I need to look for entries, I'll look for entries, but I'm just going to wait to see if we can bleed back into profit or it takes my stop loss. So those are the two positions I'm in. A few other pairs I'm looking at, nothing has quite shapened up yet for me. It's been a bit stale, but hopefully I can get pound yen to break even at some point. It's going to be a big ask, but I do think the yen pairs have got some downside in them. And then, yeah, USD pairs are flying. Dollar CAD, huge move for this one. And my bias has completely changed with dollar CAD now. Completely changed. What's up, Indumiso? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Karis, what's up? Hurricane passing overhead. Wow. 33 to 54 miles an hour winds. Damn. Tornado touchdown about 3 miles from my house yesterday. That's scary. That is scary. Because, yeah, I've never experienced anything like that. Like, I hear about that in the news and stuff. And it doesn't feel real because, 33 to 54 miles an hour, that's like the speed of a car. So winds that quick doesn't really compute in my mind. But I hope you're safe. I really do hope you're safe and nothing chaotic happens. But that sounds pretty insane. But still turning up to the streams though, regardless of the hurricane, still turning up to the streams. I've got to commend that. That is outstanding commitment there, Karis. But yeah, hope everything's okay though, because that sounds dangerous. I'm not used to hurricanes and tornadoes. But what is moving at 33 miles an hour is dollar CAD though. This one is pushing pretty hard, and of course dollar is probably the main orchestrator of that, But as well, CAD's been pretty weak too. I think oil had a bit of a drop, past couple of days. But dollar CAD's flying, Euro USD's falling, pound USD not so much. Dollar CGF had a pretty big move up. Aussie dollar falling a little bit. New Zealand dollar, that's had a big fall, but that was more so to do with New Zealand and gold and silver. A bit of downside, but not as much as the day before. But what I can definitely say is that dollar CAD, the bearish bias I had, it's completely gone out the window now. Completely gone out the window. Because I said, as long as price stays below this swing point here, I will retain that bearish bias. If price breaks through that bearish bias is completely gone out the window. And I'm expecting something like this to form and a continuation, and we're possibly going to be moving back to the high up there. Because now we're back above this significant level here. I was expecting us just to continue the bearish path on the way down. Doesn't seem dollar CAD is wanting to do that. Now that we've broken back above it, broken through structure as well, because this is our last lower high that gave us the new low. That has changed my bias for me. So with dollar CAD now looking exceptionally bullish, if we can get a retest of this area, that would be great. Looking for that next higher low, because it's essentially like a big double bottom pattern now. And I think there's a really high chance that we do push to 1.39, especially if DXY can see a big swing to the upside. That will help drag it higher. But yeah, dollar CAD looking exceptionally bullish. And I was bearish coming to the week, but that is completely gone out the window now. And now I like the buys. Now I do like the buys. We'll go through some USD pairs and then we'll take a look at some yen pairs. See where we're at with the USD and yen, because that's normally where my main focus is always at. I do like the crosses, but the crosses had that moment. Sometimes they're absolutely abysmal. I don't like trading them. They have been really choppy recently, so I haven't focused on the crosses as of late. But the yen pairs, dollar pairs, normally where my focus is at. So we'll go through them first. And of course, if you guys have any pairs you're looking at, feel free to let me know and we'll take a look as well. How do you identify the trend? Becky, good question. When you're looking to identify the trend, you want to focus on market structure, higher highs and higher lows. So you want to focus on the swing points. So for example, this here will be a bullish trend and this here will be a bearish trend. You want to focus on the swing points. So where the highs and lows are. If the highs are getting lower and the lows are getting lower, a bit self-explanatory, but if you see patterns like this, it's a bearish trend, the market's falling. And of course, this is a bullish trend, the market's rising. And if you want to anticipate a change of trend, then the best way to do it is, again, using market structure. This being our last low, which gave us the high. If the market was to now come and break through that, that would be an indication that the trend is changing. And now you expect the market to move in the opposite direction. So on paper, from a textbook, taking it straight from the textbook, that's what you're looking at. Of course, the market is a bit more unique than that, and some things can come into play more so than others, but that's generally what you're looking for: higher highs and higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. And you're looking for that low to break or the high to break if we're reversing to the upside. We'll go through some USD pairs first. Brian, has the prop from launch already? No, we're looking to launch next weekend. That is the expected date of launch. So put it in your diaries, everybody, because we will have some discount opportunities on the Discord. So when we do launch, make sure in the Discord so you don't miss out. But we will looking to launch next weekend. So mark your diaries. It's going to be a big weekend coming up next. Not this week, and the week after. Keris, absolutely, we still have electricity. Yeah, as long as you've got electricity, I expect you on the stream regardless. But I hope everything's okay though. Blessing, good morning. Hope you're well. Euro USD, what are your expectations for CPI and Euro? Yeah, we're about to go through the dollar pair. So yeah, with Euro again, expectations. It's always a funny word, expectation, especially with the market. Everything's really bullish with USD now. I'm long-term bearish still, but we very much could see a bigger pullback, which could push us all the way to 104, 105, potentially 106 before we do get that drop. Because essentially, DXY has just been ranging, more or less got the lows and highs there. We've bounced from the low pretty aggressively. So the DXY could make a swing back to the high here, go give us that next lower high, maybe around here, around the 105 mark. Then maybe from there, we get the next drop to the downside. So there could be a lot more upside from the DXY, a lot more upside from USD, especially with the momentum from NFP last week as well. So I'm kind of, at least in the short term to medium term, bullish on USD for now. And I'm expecting that drop at a later date. That could occur in a week or 2 weeks' time or whenever. But I think we probably will see some more upside with the USD. So I do think with markets like Euro USD, we might retrace a little bit more, and some other USD pairs as well. But yeah, I'm still looking for that higher low where it will form. I'm still looking at these swing points here. And as we approach this high here, which looks like price is trying to break through, the next point of call for me is this level here as well. So I'll see what we can do here. But if USD is going to maintain its strength and it just breaks through with CPI, then I will step back with my long bias with Euro and probably just wait for more information. Because the plan is, if Euro is going to push back to the upside like that, then I don't want it to be breaking through this low. If it does push past that low, then I'll scrap that bias for now, and we probably might see a bit more downside, and USD will keep pushing higher up. So these 2 points are really pivotal for me if I'm going to get into some buys for Euro. At the moment, looks like we're cracking through that first level. So I'll see what we can do here. But if CPI turns out bullish for USD, and we do see that move on USD, as I said, then maybe we do get a big push there. And if that's the case, then I'll hold back. But if we don't, and we see some nice rejection here, nice wicks, strong bullish engulfing candle, that to me is a nice entry signal to take price higher, at least back to some of these levels here, some of the levels up there, and we can take some profit around 1.1, 1.106, lock in some gains there. Then maybe we have that bigger move down at some point, but at least we can profit on the way up. But yeah, with Euro USD, it's in a really nice place for a buy. So I like the buys here, but I'm watching, keeping one eye on dollar, because I kind of expect USD to maintain that strength. So buying Euro could be a bit dodgy, but if the price action does set up well, I will take the buy. Trading opportunity to trading opportunity, as long as we're managing our risk. That's the important thing. But if USD is pretty strong, which is kind of what I'm expecting it to be, we might not get that trade there on Euro. And then we could be talking about sells later on, and we'll wait for CPI to come out. And tomorrow's stream, I'll go into detail about that. But for now, we're still at a strong area of support. So for me, it's bullish territory, at least for a bounce anyway. And that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro for now. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Brian, if you see strength for USD and CPI, how do you think this will affect positions on the Aussie CHF and pound yen? Good question. Well, on paper, if USD is strong, then yen should be strong and CHF should be strong as well, because they're positively correlated, USD, CHF, and yen. So if USD does gain strength, then I'm expecting yen to gain strength, CHF to gain strength. So pound yen should push down, Aussie CHF should push down. Again, in terms of what degree, how much it does move, it might be a slight move, might be a big move. That's all kind of in hindsight, you'll find that out. But predominantly USD does follow it. But maybe with news events, things don't always go to plan as well. Sometimes correlation does go out the window a little bit, but on paper, I do expect to see CHF gain strength too, and yen gain strength as well. So they should be moving down if USD is strong. Holy One Aussie CHF broke back the hour 50 at the 4 p.m. That's a no. Okay, close pre-plan profit, but look at measuring style trading. It's preparing for a huge buy. I'm actually buys now. Okay, so you're buying Aussie CHF, but this is a swing. I'm using 4H daily analysis. That drop you got was actually a pullback, so I'll hold this for a while. Okay, got some massive swing setups in New Zealand yen. Will soon be ready for a big buy. Okay. You're very much opposite to the bias I have with CHF and yen, because I'm still pretty bearish on CHF and still pretty bearish on the yen pairs. I'm looking for big moves down for both of them. So our biases are completely in the opposite direction. With CHF though, it's a little bit wishy-washy, so I can see this one pushing up because we've come very close to the all-time low. So I kind of do expect to bounce to the upside at some point. But I'm just looking to see if I can play that range from the high to the low first before we do make that move. Because if I'm looking for a buy for Aussie CHF with my rules and my planning and my analysis, there's only two places where I'd buy Aussie CHF, which would be down at the low here or above the high here. This for me is a really nice point of play because the markets respect that level so many times. And of course, this level here as well, because if we break through that, they're not expecting us to push back into the high over there. So a break and retest there or pull back all the way there. So those are the only two ways I'll look to step into buys for Aussie CHF. At the moment, this is still kind of bearish territory for me as you respect the high. I know we've had a bit of a dip there to the downside, so we're now further away from that level. So we could push higher, but that's where my trade management comes in. I'm just going to let the market play out. I'll trail my stop loss behind, see if I get taken out of break even or the market does make its move down. That'll be up to Aussie CHF. I've done my part. Now depends what the market wants to do, but if it does push up and we do get a big break of the high here around 0.586, then I'll reanalyze, and if I do get a solid retest, then I'll look to take part in the buys and see if we can get moved back to the high around 0.61. So I can see the buys there for Aussie CHF because long term we've already had a big move down, so it could be price getting ready to reverse. I can definitely see that. Same with New Zealand CHF as well. But until they get to one of those two areas, it's not ready for me to buy yet in terms of my trading anyway. So that's what I'll be waiting for the bullish side of things. But for now, I'm still happy with the shorts off the high there, looking to play the range. And then, I'll manage the trade accordingly. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But let me finish with the USD pairs before I get forget to go for the rest of them. What's up, Casperio? Hope you're doing good. CPI day, YOLO. You only live once. Yeah, might as well just risk the whole account at CPI. See if it goes for you or against you. It's 50-50. Not bad odds if you ask me. But I think I'm not going to be looking to do that. But so if Euro, it's in nice bullish territory where we can be looking for buys. But the key thing is now waiting for price to show some signals, show some rejection, and then I can look to get involved. If not, I'll stay away, let Euro USD do its thing. It might be looking to bleed, especially if USD is going to be strong on CPI. With pounds, this is still an interesting area for a buy for me because this again is the low that gave us the high. So in terms of market structure, low, high, low, high, low, high. If the market can stay above this, I'm expecting a bounce. Now, again, we don't necessarily need to continue the trend and see a beautiful swing to the upside. That could be the case. But if we can get some buys here, even if the price just moves halfway back up there, that's already a nice move in itself. Depending on your entry on the 4 hour, the hourly, that could be a really nice move in itself. Maybe it does form a right shoulder and we get a massive head and shoulder pattern. That could be the place as well. But at that point, you're probably locked in some gains, maybe trail to stop. So you can definitely still make it a profitable event, even if we do break lower. But in terms of a solid place for a buy for pounds, 1.305 still looks really, really good to me. And if we were to break through that, then I'll be expecting more downside for pound because at that point, we've got a break of structure in the daily. It's a very pivotal thing. So I'll be expecting a lower high and then some continuation. NZUSD, this one kind of staying back as well because the point of call for me was this low here. This is where I was looking to buy from, but we had the New Zealand interest rates on yesterday, early hours in the morning, which broke through that level. So when I woke up, there was no buy for me to take because price has already broken through. I said yesterday, if it does recover back above aggressively, I may look to get back in, but no signs of that happening just yet. So I'm going to stay on the sidelines right now for NZUSD because it is still a choppy market, but I do think the bigger move is to the upside. Maybe we're going to have a really big push back to the low here, possibly, before we get that move. But that was the area I wanted to buy from. But now price is broken through. No longer to get involved. Dollar CAD, my bias has completely changed because I wanted the price to stay below that swing point there as we continue to make new lows. I wanted to see something like that happen. That did not happen. The market broke structure really aggressively. It's looking really bullish now. So now at this point, I'm looking at corrections and continuations. We broke above a really critical point here. And if we were to retest that again as support, that'd be magnificent. And then, possibly we're going to see it push all the way up to 1.39 next with dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I'm actually bullish now on USD CAD, expecting a lot more upside. Dollar CHF, still not really a pair which I'm looking to trade, to be honest, but we've had a nice bounce off the low there. It's looking good. We've seen some nice momentum. We talked a lot about this one past couple of days. A nice retest, saw some upside. So I'm not really interested with this one. The trade's kind of already gone anyway. So yeah, not really much to say about that one. Aussie dollar, I like the buys here. More so down at the low at 0.665. I'm looking for some type of bounce with Aussie dollar to see if we can push back to the high, or at least far as possible, and we'll see how that one gets going. So I'm going to keep an eye on Aussie dollar. Gold and silver, I'm still bullish on these ones and looking for more upside. Although gold, I think there could be a nice short-term sell. Price has been slowly falling over. Something like this back into the high could be a nice short before the buys come in around 25.90 or 25.60. And then we can speak about the longs. But gold, I do think we can see another drop. Still bullish on gold though. Still very, very bullish on gold. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD wise. It's kind of mixed with some, but it looks like USD strength is back in town. Crude oil. Okay, Karis, we'll take a look. Obviously, Jeff already for buy yet. Okay, for it's so it may drop more, but okay, it took a small buy. So in this case, tell me it's ready, and that's not late. Okay, maybe mid next week. Okay. Yeah, he did buy yesterday, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Philip, do you normally take partial or just wait until your profit target is hit? I normally trail. My stop loss and leave structure. So I don't. I used to take partials, but not anymore. I normally trail my stop loss. When I think of the DXY and euros, yeah, as I said, with euro, I do think we're in a nice place for a bounce to see some upside because we've had a really big drop over the past few days, and now we're coming back into some daily highs over here, which we never had a retest of. So this is now bullish territory for me, and I do think we can see a nice bounce, nice recovery of that. It might not continue all the way to the moon, but we might get 40%, 50% retracement of that move. And that could be a really nice trade in itself. Depending on the entry, could be looking at 1 to 3 plus. But we need to see some evidence of the market rejecting those areas. Right now, kind of just slowly falling. So I want to see some wicks forming on the 4 hour. It looks like we're cracking through that first level. So if you can push a little bit lower, maybe give us some nice wicks, and then looking for a nice little signal there. That could be a nice little trade in itself. Back to this area, maybe this area there, maybe if we're lucky all the way up there as well. But yeah, looking for buyers in that area as we slowly fall. Probably won't get anything till after CPI anyway. Dollar CHF continued after I closed. Lost juicy profits, typical. Yeah, sometimes the market will do that, of course. Hindsight is always a funny little thing because you make decisions at the time and you're like, yeah, it's a logical decision based on good merit. Come back and it's either it was a great decision, the market reversed, or the market just continued. You're like, oh, I wish I stayed in. Yeah, and that's the thing. You never really know. Even if you use electronic take profits as well. It could hit your take profit, great, but then it could still drop another 50, 100 pips. And you're like, oh, I wish I stayed in. It's always when you look back, then you know the right answer of what you should have done. But yeah, that's trading. That's trading, I guess. Can never exit perfectly. Take partials. I have one running to take profit, and that's it. Yeah, partials. I like partials. I like partials. Of course, they're not good in terms of maximizing your profit. Um, they're not good at maximizing your profit because as price goes in the direction, you're taking positions off. So it's like the more money you make, the less positions you're going to hold over time. So in terms of maximizing your profit, it doesn't do that. But what it does bank profit along the way. So it's really good at keeping your drawdown steady and keeping your equity curve steady as well, because it's not like you have to wait, for price to get all the way to your take profit to make a winner. You make winners along the way. So I like partials because it's really good at keeping a steady equity curve, and it's good at just banking profits, keeping yourself sane as well. Because some people find it hard to hold to take profits, but if you do take partials, then it makes it a little bit easier to hold to your final take profits as well. So I do like take profits, but they're not there to maximize your profits. As long as you're aware of that, they're there to protect your downside, not necessarily your upside. Anyway, we'll go through oil because that was recommended earlier. So yeah, oil had a big bounce yesterday as we came off that low around 72. So yeah, that level acting as support very well. We had a nice rejection up at the high over there, and then a really nice rejection of the low here. Really nice bounce. So with oil, I'm actually expecting us just to complete the range back to the high again, back to 77 really, because it looks to me that this massive level at 66 on the daily stroke weekly chart is kind of holding. And we've had a bigger reaction, especially with last week's candle close. So I do think there's a bit of upside to be had with oil. I would stay a bit wary because we are still putting these lower highs in, so I'm not expecting us to fly to the moon per se, but I do think there's a bit more upside to be had, and maybe we might go and test the trend line up there, especially with the bounce we had, off the low here. So kind of expecting us to push back to 77 now. Maybe we come back for a retest, and there could be some nice entries if we go and do that. But I think the train has left the station a little bit because you want to be focusing your entries, close to that level as possible. We've already had a nice reaction there, so maybe we come back for a double bottom and then push away. But in terms of direction for oil, I do think we'll push back to 77 there, back into that high. But yeah, really big move to the downside yesterday for oil, but I think we're going to see some upside now. Yeah, oil's moving all over the place. Okay. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I know. Tell me about it, Holy One. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. What's up? Arunesh, am I saying that correctly? Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Brian, are your parents from Rwanda? No, they are not. I remember that one time you were streaming from there. Talk to me whenever you decide to visit Botswana, so I give you a tour. Hey, don't worry, Botswana's on the bucket list, my man. No, I was visiting Rwanda. My parents aren't from Rwanda. My dad's from Nigeria. My mum's from Zambia. What's up, Kwame? Welcome to the stream. The reversal on pound CAD played out. Yeah, we did see a pretty big move up from pound CAD, didn't we? I think CAD weakness helped that out. Karis, okay, you got in at that level. Congrats, looking good then. Looking really good. What's the plan for the trade? Are you looking to take it to 85? Okay, oh, that's a pretty big move. 85 is all the way up there. So yeah, there's a possibility we could see that because we are coming from a big swing low on the weekly chart. Last time we reacted with this low, we got to 92. But I would watch out for that trend line there because we are putting these lower highs in, and there's of course that chance where we could put another lower high in back at that same area and see another drop to the downside as we kind of squeeze between support and the resistance of the trend line. So I'd watch out around 79.80. Yeah, possibly you could get to 85 if the price breaks through that. That's a reasonable bet as well. But there will be some obstacles on the way because it's such a big move you're looking for. So I would watch out around 80 because a lower high on the weekly could present itself. But otherwise, if you break through that, then yeah, back into that next high is looking pretty reasonable. But yeah, looking good though. Looking good, I have to say. Oh, that's not dollar CHF. Dollar CHN. Okay. As bullish, can we check it? Okay, we'll have a look. See. Um, Next alert is Euro pound swing. Okay. Not touching nothing else until it sounds small. Okay, small position on CHF, but not so bothered. Okay. What's up, Will? I don't know if I said hello to you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Um, Not ready. I'm hunting Euro pound at time. Okay, yeah, Euro pound. Not my favorite pair. It has its moments, but I tend to stay away. Anyway, I'll go through. I'll take a look at that USD CHN, and then we'll go through. We'll go through some yen pairs. I'm not sure. If I've looked at this one before. I feel like I have, but maybe a different broker. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so last time I looked at it, we were around here. I think I was talking about a bounce off that low to push back for a retest there, which we did see, but didn't continue a lot further. Broke a little bit higher, and then the move came. But yeah, now going forward, let me just look at the higher time frames. Oh, damn, okay, big push down. That is really random there. It's a really weird price action. Yeah, that's what you get when you're trading exotics as well. There's not a lot of volume in the market, at least compared with euro. So it's a bit different. But yeah, the market looks like it's really struggling at these highs. It makes these highs and it has these big turnarounds. So potentially we could be seeing something like that happen longer term. In terms of where the value is, then up here is where you're kind of looking for your sells. And down here is where you're looking for your buys. We had a nice reaction off that high there, but I would expect more downside on the higher time frames. Let me know what time frames you're looking at, which time frames you're looking to trade on, so I can be a bit more help for you intraday or swing. Yeah, let me know. But we are coming back into this low here. Sorry, on the daily chart. So I would be a little bit wary of that. We have pushed up quite hard, but yeah, if you're looking for buys, then you kind of want to see price go and break through that because you already had a big move here with this market. So now's not really the time to buy, certainly when we're coming back into resistance as well. So if you're looking to buy, you kind of want to see price go through a bit of a correction first. And if we can do that, we'll be above the daily level as well. So that'll be good. And then you got some targets to look at back to some of these highs. I think longer term we're going for a bearish move, but we might just be looking to retrace first. So I like the buys here. If we can get back above this daily level there on the left, around 7.102, something like that could look good. Buying now, I don't think is the best bet because we very much could just continue this bearish move to the downside, really. So you want to see a little bit more indication that the buys are here to stay. And something like that could look good going forward. But yeah, I do think we'll push up maybe to this area and then go for a big fall. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll look at on that market, but definitely not something I'll look at regularly. Currently on the phone to contract the charts. Okay, we'll take a look at Aussie dollar. No problem. Okay, no worries, Holly. One, have a good one, my man. I'm heading out the house. Catch you tomorrow afternoon. Okay, no problem. Have a good one. Um, okay, so we'll go through Aussie dollar. I'll take a look at pound CAD as well. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if that made sense, or if you're on the lower time frames. But yeah, in terms of Aussie dollar, so Aussie dollar came into a really nice level. I do like the buys for Aussie dollar, but I'm kind of holding out to see if we can come a little bit lower or give me a nice little double bottom in that low there, because we've had such a big drop for Aussie dollar, and now we're kind of becoming a little bit more corrective. We're losing out on that bearish momentum we once had. So this is a nice area where price could look for that bounce. And I feel like we'll probably know the answer to that by CPI this afternoon, because CPI is in another 3 hours or so. So potentially probably push down and then reject it, and then that could then give us the signal. Or if we do push down a little bit further, then we do have the low there at 0.664, 665, where we can look for some buys. So this is definitely my preferred area, but this area here can still give us a really nice bounce as well. So I'm bullish on the Aussie dollar because we've had such a big drop, and now we're pushing back down into bullish territory. Just did that twice. So there we go. Now we're pushing back into bullish territory. I'm expecting sellers who took their sells up here to be looking to start exiting their trades and taking profit. And this is where I want to be jumping in as a buyer. And again, maybe if we're optimistic, possibly see a swing back to the high there. But as we spoke about yesterday, doesn't need to be such a big swing for us to make a profit. Yeah, even the push back to 0.68 looks really good. So something like that is what I'm eyeing up for Aussie dollar. So at the moment, not really much to report on, because I'm expecting the market to kind of just be a bit stale until CPI this afternoon. And then we'll see what happens with USD, if it's very weak or very strong. That will dictate with Aussie dollar. If it is weak, probably we'll see a bit of a bounce up, and that could then be a nice entry signal. If it is strong, we'll probably end up breaking through, and then we can discuss the next level for a buy around 0.664, 665. So that's kind of how I see Aussie dollar. Same with euro as well. Possibly might see a bounce at those levels, or maybe CPI gives us a bigger push. Same with pound as well. But I'm expecting a strong USD. Again, that's not a signal. Go and look to buy USD before the CPI. I mean, I'm not even trading dollar, so I wouldn't go and do that. But that's just kind of what I'm expecting with USD. So if we can have another push down, great. Then we'll look for some rejection afterwards, and then hopefully we can get nice buy going. Hopefully back into roughly 0.68, and then maybe into 0.69. I know you're looking for that head and shoulder pattern, so possibly could see a push into that level there. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if USD does go through a big reversal, we can go a lot further. But yeah, USD looks like it's broken through this level with ease. So now I'm looking to see if we can push to 104. And if that's the case, then maybe USD is going to maintain that strength for a while. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie dollar for now. View with Euro CHF. So Euro CHF, I'm still pretty bearish bias on. It's just been very awkward to trade, and so has the other CHF pairs, in fairness, really. But the key thing with Euro CHF is that we're still printing these lower highs in. We've got one over there, second over there, third over there, fourth potentially over here. I'm anticipating it to be. We're respecting this low here pretty well. That's kind of what's holding as resistance. So with Euro CHF, I'm looking at the market dropping one more time back into the low, and then we'll go from there. Maybe the market reverses. Maybe we break through and create new lows. That'll be up to Euro Swiss, but I do expect us to drop again. Now, in terms of looking to trade it, that's where it becomes really awkward, because it's like, where do you put your entries? Where do you put your stop loss? What confidence are you using to enter? That's where it becomes a bit tricky. In terms of myself, I wouldn't really be looking to get involved at these prices. If I'm looking to get involved, it would have to be on the retest of the low here. So entering up at that high, because at least I get a pretty sensible stop loss above the high. I can look for entries at that level. I know I've got a big daily level backing me. In here becomes a little bit more difficult, and your stop loss is not as safe. I expect us to roll over, but who knows? We might consolidate for a few more days, maybe go for a retest and then drop. The market can be a bit random sometimes, especially with the CHF pair. So in terms of direction, I do think Euro CHF is going to drop to it. In terms of trading it, finding entries in the stop loss, I'm not really seeing where it looks good. To be honest, it just looks like a very noisy market. Up at the highs is where you got the clarity. Inside here, it's always going to be difficult to take some positions. Not that you can't find a trade. It's just I don't think it'll be a particularly great one. But yeah, I am bearish on Euro CHF. I'm bearish on most of these CHF pairs. CAD CHF, Pound CHF, Aussie CHF, of course, I'm trading it, and ED CHF as well. All right, Will, take care, man. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Oz CHF and the rest of the CHF pairs. But yeah, it's just difficult to trade in terms of the entries. We'll go through some yen pairs because yen pairs I'm quite interested to see what they're doing. Again, yen pairs and USD pairs are my favorite pairs to trade, and then everything else kind of just I like to trade it, but when it looks good with the yen pairs and the USD pairs because they move a lot better, price action is a bit more tidier. I normally have a better success with them. So I like trading them. But in some of the yen pairs, we've seen some interesting price action, really interesting price action. Now, I'm still pretty bearish on all these yen pairs, and I've held this bearish bias for a very, very long time. Hasn't really come into play yet, but I think because of how everything's developing, it looks like it is starting to. So again, my main thought process with these yen pairs is that we had a big drop in July, now price is correcting itself and looking for a continuation. So my expectation is that this is a pause in the market before we continue the momentum we had here. Now, will we see a drop as big as that? Potentially, I have no idea. We need Bank of Japan to do something there for us to see a drop as big as that, or at least as impulsive as that. But I do think with the yen pairs, if you can hold these highs, I do think there's a lot of downside. So the key thing that I've noticed is that we're starting to hold onto these highs again, especially with CAD yen. We're back underneath the high, respecting the resistance. That's the key thing I want to be seeing, and that could be the start of the end of the yen pairs. I'm joking, but it could be the start of a big move down. So I'm liking the downside here on CAD yen. I'm liking the price action more importantly, and to me, this move here just looks like a big fake out, especially because it was NFP with such a big move to the upside. And that could have trapped a lot of buyers at the top because everyone's seeing that momentum. Everyone's thinking, buy. I don't want to miss out on this move. And then we just casually come back underneath that low, underneath that high, sorry. Now respecting the resistance. In my book, I think, well, I shouldn't say I think. I expect us to fall now that we're back below the low. If for me to be thinking otherwise, I need price to be breaking back above, which after that rejection we had this morning is not looking very likely. So as long as CAD yen can hold this 109 area, I'm expecting a lot of downside here for CAD yen. Of course, with my trade, there's a long way to go because I entered this trade back in not last Friday, the Friday before that. So tomorrow it will be 2 weeks since I've entered this position. So I've got the stop loss above the high. So I'm giving pound yen. It's either going to hit my stop loss or it's going to continue my direction. But I am still expecting us to break lower. And I say that because we've been very, very corrective on this way up as well. And typically when we see the market move in these ascending channels, you do expect us to break lower, just like when we're moving in a descending channel, you expect price to eventually break to the upside. So I expect that to happen soon. And it looks like we could be starting to see that. Euro yen as well. I'm liking the rejection we had there. Euro yen not quite at the high, but more or less there per se. I would like Euro yen to be a little bit higher up before looking for entries, but I expect a big move down. New Zealand yen, I'm looking for this one to find a lot of downside as well. It's hanging on to that high there. If it can maintain that, I do think we'll drop, possibly back to the low here, then possibly back to the low all the way down here as well. Again, same as CAD yen, same as pound yen, same as euro. Big impulse down, looking at this as a correction, and then I'm expecting us to completely sell off. So that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs in general. Aussie yen similar as well. This one needs to break back underneath this low. Keep saying this low. Needs to break back underneath this high first, and then we can talk about that. But again, you can see how corrective price is moving. You know, this is not normally sustainable price action, and you do expect us to break lower. And then if we can see that move, then I'm expecting it to really continue to the downside. Dollar yen, equally so, coming back into a really nice high. And do you think dollar yen can see a lot of downside there? Swiss yen, this one just trading above the high. If Swiss yen can get back below, the sells are back on, and I'm expecting a big move down. So they're in limbo. They need to recover some highs first before I can really expect a down move. Now I'm still bearish bias because my bias comes from the high time frames. It's not comes from an intraday level. So I do think we can see the downside there for those pairs, but probably going to take some time unless Bank of Japan do something and we can see a big drop. But out the end pairs, I'm still holding pound yen. It's been a tough hold, but I'm going to let price either hit the stop loss or play out. There's nothing else for me to do really. And of course, with Aussie Chef, I'll keep sitting on that one. But that one's starting to take its time as well. I still like it though because it's still moving pretty correctively on the way up here too. So in my book, I would expect the market to break lower, but we'll see. Can't be looking to try and predict anything. I'll just be looking to trail openly. Hey, what's up, Will? AJ, can you check Aussie New Zealand dollar? Okay. Let me know what you're looking at on that pair. Not the biggest fan of it myself. Looks like we've broken through the high here. So yeah, with Aussie New Zealand dollar, it's a weird one. We've been very consistent with some high lows on the weekly chart. You can see a trend line there. The market's been very, very consistent. So I'm wondering, are we slowly getting ready for a big breakout to the upside back into 1.14390? Possibly. There is a bit of an obstacle in our way, which is this level here. If we can really get the breakout of that, and then yeah, I do think we'll fly. But yeah, let me know what you're looking at, what time frame you're looking at. You're looking for longs. So yeah, in terms of longs, it's not really in the bullish territory for me. If you're intraday, I can see a bit more sense with that. But in terms of a swing, I need price to either be breaking above and retesting these areas, or pulling a lot further down first, and then I can talk about buys potentially. Looking for another retest of this kind of trend line here, which seems to be connecting all the dots. If you can push closer to those areas from a swing bias anyway, that's where I would want to position myself long. Or like I said, we break higher and then we look for the retest, of this kind of area here, and then take some longs there. So those are the only two ways I would personally look to get long, but that's from a swing bias. If you're intraday, then of course you're kind of looking to ride the momentum that we've seen over the past few days. But I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy. I think if we can probably come back to this area, that's a nice place for a bounce. And taking it back to the high looks like a good trade in itself. So from a long perspective, if you're looking at swing, you kind of want price to break and come back and retest or pull back a lot more. If you're looking for intraday, then again, you probably want to see pullback as well, but probably looking at some of these prices there around 1.10146 and looking to see if you can take it back to the high around 1.108. So that's probably what I'll be looking at intraday. But yeah, not a big fan of Aussie New Zealand dollar, to be honest. Price action is always quite choppy, and it's difficult to get a solid read on it because it doesn't really trend well. But what I've learned with Aussie New Zealand dollar is that the best way to trade it across most time frames is to buy low and sell high, because the market doesn't really trend. And if it does trend, it doesn't trend for long. So if the market keeps reversing on itself, push up, comes back down, push down, comes back up, and the best way to trade it effectively is buying low and selling high. Of course, not blindly. You want to be having a system behind it and buying at effective areas. But predominantly speaking, you don't want to buy at too high prices and you don't want to sell at too low prices, because keep reversing. All we have to do is just look at the price action here, up, down, up, down, up, down. We very rarely continue something. We very rarely have continuations. So watch out for that. If there's a trending market per se, like the yen pairs in 2022, 2023, even a bit in 2021, if you look at the yen pairs and how beautifully they're trending, hey, you just want to look for the continuations, of course, and that's your main your main plan. As price pushes up, you're looking to catch those higher lows and buy those pullbacks, buy those retests, buy those dips, and looking for continuations here looks good. Buying higher than selling higher. But when the market's as corrective as Aussie New Zealand dollar, you just want to be picking your areas down low if you're looking to buy, and of course picking areas up high if you're looking to sell. Not that you'll be right, but you'll be better off for it. And that's why market conditions play such a big role, because many people will come up with a strategy and then just apply that strategy to every single market condition, every single market. That's just a very kind of poor way to apply the strategy, because you can have very, very simple trending market strategies, just like buying on the retest of a moving average with some other confluences, some entry signals and stuff like that. But if the market is just really, really bullish and just trending very well, then chances are the moving average is going to hold, because it's just so bullish. If you're looking at a market condition like this and you're trading with the same trending strategy, the results will be very, very poor. Very, very poor, because it's just not suited for it. So when you are looking to trade different markets, make sure your strategy is in the correct, is correct for the condition. And which is why I'm a big fan of trading multiple different markets and having multiple different markets you can trade from, not just one. Some people are very big advocates of just trading one pair with one time frame. I can understand it, because you come a lot more tuned with that market. But it's a lot easier to master one strategy in terms of trending markets, mean reversion, reversals, breakouts, whatever strategy you're looking to master that one strategy, and then look across different markets for the best conditions for that strategy. For me, that makes a bit more sense, because if you're trading one market, you're going to have to be able to trade range. You have to be trade range, reversals, all those conditions you have to learn how to trade, which is a lot harder to do consistently. Array, what's up? New Zealand dollar, pound USD. Okay, we'll take a look. Pound NZD as well. No problem, AJ. Happy to help. Okay, so we'll go through NZD USD. So yeah, with NZD USD, as I mentioned earlier, I'm still long biased, but I just don't have a level which I'm looking to buy from, because this was the level I was looking to buy at 0.614 this week. But we had the NZD interest rate decision on Wednesday, which broke through this level. So that just didn't give me an entry signal, unfortunately, and now price is trading below. So not that we can't see the move up, because I think we will at some point, but we may still want to move further down. Of course, CPI today will play a big role. That reminds me, I will be live again later today with Trader Nick on his channel. And we'll, of course, cover CPI there and discuss what's going on. So if you guys are free, feel free to tune into that stream as well. That'll be on his channel. But yeah, CPI will have a big role to play in terms of what's happening with NZD USD. If I'm looking to buy it, then I need to either get back above this low, 0.612, or push all the way down to these areas here. Otherwise, there's no other reasonable place for me to buy it with NZD USD, which is why my focus is more towards Aussie dollar, because I've got some decent levels here, which I still like the longs and still like the looks of. So yeah, for NZD USD, I think if you're looking at it from an intraday point of view, you can get away from some sales. I mean, I'm still bullish, but if you can see something like this, Again, CPI will probably make things look different, but effectively from an intraday level anyway, if we are going to maintain the trend here, probably find some nice shorts in the retest of 0.611. See if you can ride that back to the low. But because the market's had such a big sell, I wouldn't be looking to try and push those trades too far. If you get a nice short, great. Call it a day back into the low because the market is quite stretched to the downside. So I do expect us to snap back to the upside at some point. It's just, when is that going to happen? And for pound USD I like because we're still respecting structure, at least from a bullish side of things as well. Because if I go into the daily chart, again, you can see the market's higher highs and higher lows. This is the last low before we create the high. If price can come back and retest this area, I do think that's a great place for a long and see if you can take it back to the high at 1.34, even back to this high here as well, around 1.325. To me, that looks like a solid place for a buy. Was resistance over here, was acting as support. Nice push up. Now the market's back there, back down there again. If we can see some nice rejection, some nice wicks, momentum, that could end up being a really nice place for an entry. And then you can see if you can swing it to some of those targets there. So yeah, for pound USD, I would be bullish as we approach the low here. Of course, the key thing is that we have to stay respecting the low. If the market goes and breaks through, that will throw everything out the window really, because at that point, we're breaking market structure. So I'll be looking for the daily chart to actually roll over and see a big move down at that point. But if we can maintain this low, 1.30287 as support, then I'm looking for a big bounce on pound USD. So hopefully that made sense. We'll go through pound NZD as well. Does it make sense to open an NZD sell and a pound NZD buy transaction in the same time frame? Yes, because effectively you're looking to sell NZD. Because if you're selling NZD USD, you're selling New Zealand dollar, and if you're buying pound NZD, you're still selling NZD as well. You're just selling against the pound instead of the USD. So you're effectively saying you expect NZD to be very weak, weaker than USD, weaker than pound, is effectively what you're saying. But what I would say though is you don't necessarily need to take both positions because there will be some correlation between them. Because of course, if NZD is going to be weak, NZD USD is going to fall, and pound NZD is going to rise. So in terms of risk, there's no point in taking both. You might as well just take one because the chances are both trades will fail or both trades will work. So you're essentially just taking either one of those trades with double the risk. So if you're risking 1%, you're risking 2 now. If you're risking 2, you're risking 4, and so on and so forth. So I would suggest just pick the better one and trade that one. You can take both if you want, but they're probably going to fail and work together. So be prepared for that as well. Do you trade profit accounts or just personal investor funds? I want to make this long-term career. Once I become profitable and consistent, I think the best way to do it is to spread your eggs in different baskets. The most important thing for me as a trader myself is definitely your personal funds, because at the end of the day, that's what you can control over. If you want to withdraw 100% of your personal capital, you can do that. If you want to increase risk, reduce risk, so personal is your golden egg. In terms of prop firm accounts, investor, anything else, those are really good just to add more chips in your favor. So not all your income comes from one basket, but the most important thing is definitely your personal. So you want to put most of your focus in that, but then of course you can use prop firms and other things to help leverage and grow your personal quicker, and have diversification. But your personal is your big boy. Yeah, that's true. You can use Darwin X as well. That'll build a track record, and you don't even have to use Darwin X to build a track record, because you can use a previous track record you have, and you can take that to Darwin X as well. But you can build it there if you want to as well. But if you do have a personal trading account, you read and you've been trading it for a while, you do have a track record there. You can take your statements, or you can put it in a software which can systemize everything and put it all nice and tidy so you can see the data of it. But if you've been trading for a while on a personal account, you can use the statements there. All right, no problem. Kojo, do you think luck plays a role in trading? Wow, deep questions today. It's a good question, because yes and no. Because there are some traders that you'll see that make massive gains very, very quickly because they went all in on a position and it turned to be right. So I would say that has an element of luck in it. I'm sure there's a lot of research, a lot of hard work that goes into it. But then, of course, you could be right, you could be wrong. And when it does play out, well done. But there is definitely an element of luck into it. If you're talking about sustained trading over the course of 5, 10, 15 years, then there is no luck in that, because within 5, 10, 15 years, there's going to be so much changes in the market conditions change, big economic things happen, booms and busts, everything will happen in that time. So if you're having sustained success over that long period of time, then that's just you having a solid edge over the market and being able to be consistent with it. And there's no luck in that, because if there was luck, you'd be found out within those 5, 10, 15 years. Your luck will run out over that course of time. So if you're trading for that long and you're staying profitable, then that's not luck, that's pure skill. But if you started trading and 6 months or a year later, you made a really big return on investment, then there will be a decent amount of luck that played a role in that. So effectively, the longer you're trading, the more likely it's just not luck. But in terms of an individual trade, then you have your edge, but at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, let me go through pound NZD. Pound NZD. So this one had a really big push yesterday, really big push. And it looks like price is back at a solid high right now, where we're going to find some resistance, because we've got this high and that high to contend with. But in fairness to pound NZD, we've been trending pretty well with these higher lows. So I've got to give its kudos there. But now that we're coming back into this area, I'm expecting to see a bit of friction. So pound NZD may want to continue all the way back to the high there at 2.188. It may want to continue back to the high there, but at the same time, now isn't the best time to be looking to buy. If I'm going to get involved with pound NZD, it would have to be in the retest of this area here. At least that place, I can place a decent stop loss and then potentially catch the next swing. If we do just get the break of this, fantastic. Then we can look for retest above it and then base in trades accordingly. Because like I said, we may want to push all the way back to the high over there, but we've got to be careful as we come into this level here. So buys look good, because if the market is just going to continue this trend, then we just want to follow it along and take it back to where it's going, which could be the high at 2.188. But now that we've approached that as a resistance, I need price to take a bit of a breather, find some support again, or break above and retest and take the buy into the high. But yeah, buys do look good there for pound NZD. Just not now. This is where we're trading. Just coming back into some major resistance. So I need price to take a bit of a breather first before I do take the long. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound NZD. 50-50. Yeah, I would say it's, again, like I said, if you're having sustained success over a number of years, you can't fluke that. You can't fluke that. You can fluke a lucky a big trade. You went all in a position, it played out. Then yeah, there will be an element of luck because it's an individual trade. It could either go for you or against you. But if you have sustained success over a number of years, you can't fluke that. That's especially if you're actively trading as well. That's just having an edge over the market and staying consistent. I'm expecting these yen pairs to be dropping really hard soon. I'm expecting that. Hopefully, pound yen can do that before it pushes up a little bit higher because I'm running out of space to hold this trade. My stop loss is just above the high here. And now we're trading there. So hopefully we can get the drop soon. But I have to say the yen pairs are starting to look like they're turning around. So I'm liking that. But a long way to go. And same with the CHF pairs too. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm going to wait to CPI. See what happens. Okay, no problem. Jim, happy to help. Or Gingen. Afternoon, Tom. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Any markets, any pairs you're looking at, feel free to let us know. Wow, pound CAD has been flying. New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD is trying to follow suit. I think that's because the CAD has been particularly weak. But yeah, I haven't been a big fan of the crosses, as I've said. Haven't been a big fan of the crosses. The pairs just been quite choppy these days. And I know they're normally a lot choppier, but sometimes they have really nice opportunities with the swings. Just hasn't really set up for me. So that's why I've kind of stayed away from them. But if I wasn't trading pound yen right now, I would be looking to get involved in some yen pairs, really. I think CAD yen looks really good in terms of the entry there. I probably would stay away from dollar yen just because of CPI, and then USD can be a little bit difficult. If CHF comes back in, I think that looks really good as well. Stop loss above the high, a lot of room to run into, possibly back to the low there. So yeah, I'm still keeping up that bearish bias in the yen pairs. It's been awkward, I have to admit. And we've gone through some big moves, unexpected moves, but because we're still failing at these highs here, that to me, I'm expecting the push down. So we'll see. Okay, GR30. Okay, we'll take a look. See what's cooking on that one. Tom was holding GJ long, starting 196, but seeing momentum candles kicking in with the low time frame. Okay, secured the 1 to 2, but the initial was a 1 to 5. Well, we can't complain with a 1 to 2. 1 to 2 is definitely good going, my man. 1 to 2 is definitely good going. You know, some trades you'll get the bigger ones, some will just be a smaller one, but 1 to 2, can't complain, twice the risk. Congrats on that position. Annie, hope you're doing good as well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. What do you think of the potential downside in gold and silver in the future? Good question. So with gold, I think I like the sells in gold on the intraday level. Again, gold could go for a pretty big retracement at some point, and you expect it to happen, but I'm still very, very bullish on gold long term. I just expect us to keep pushing up higher. But in the near future, I do like the sales here with gold because you had a really big break on Tuesday. Yeah, really big break for that kind on Tuesday. So I do think we can come back, retest some structure around 2630, and look for a sell there and possibly, well, at least to the low here, but possibly a little bit further as well. So I like the sells there with silver, with gold. Um, so that's the kind of idea I'm looking at. In terms of silver, I'm not really liking the shorts with silver, to be honest, because number one, we're coming back into a major level of support, prior resistance turn support here. Um, so yeah, it's just a bit more awkward. I mean, again, silver and gold move the same way as well. So silver may push up, find some structure around here and see some downside, but it just looks a lot cleaner, a lot tidier, a lot neater on gold, and it makes a lot more sense for the shorts. Again, I stop loss above the zone and see a push down. So if I was you, if you're looking for some downside on both of them, I'll focus on gold because it just looks a bit more easy to trade. And in terms of targets, back into the low there. If you get a nice short up there, back into the low, or maybe back into this area here as well. It's kind of what I'll be looking at. Maybe we go for a deeper retracement. Maybe the price wants to go for a deeper retracement. That could be a reality, but I'm not going to predict that for now. If it does happen, I'll see what happens and go again. But the market for gold has just been so bullish over the past few weeks. I can't go against that for long. So yeah, some short-term downside looks good on gold, but once we start pushing back to 25.90 and 25.60, I'll be banking on the buyers kicking back in again and seeing some upside. Let me have a look at GR30. So with GR30, would you look at that? Really nice retest. When was that? Tuesday. Really nice retest there. Now price has just flown. So with the DAX, I've talked about a retest of this level here just for price to continue because the DAX has just been so bullish. Low, high, expecting the next high low, now expecting a new high. And of course, this level has been a solid level of resistance, now flipped as support. So that was a really nice retest there on Tuesday. Tuesday, early hours of the morning. And now we're looking pretty bullish since then. So naturally, I'm just expecting us to push back to the high, which is 19,510. So if you're not in the trade from back here, if you're looking to get involved with the DAX now, I would say this is now the best area. That little brief pause in the market, we may come back and retest it and then find a nice buy from there. Or we might just continue pushing up. That'll be up to the DAX. But if you're looking for entries and you haven't got one yet, this looks like the next best area intraday anyway to get long. But yeah, that was really the place to find the trade. And now I expect us to push back into the high and maybe beyond as well. So yeah, the DAX is looking very, very bullish in my eyes. And if you're looking for some entries, 19,100 looks the best area if we were to get the retracement there anyway. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish across the board with the indices, even the US indices as well. NAS, yeah, expecting us to eventually get back to the high. Excuse me. Oh, wow, look at that US 30, really big push there. Looks like we're trying to take out the high there. And S&P already broke the high there yesterday. So yeah, generally speaking, indices looking pretty bullish. Looking pretty bullish. Okay, Tom, you're looking for gold shorts as well. Aussie CAD shorts too. They're making, okay, in the making, but I need more info. Have them on the radar. Nice. And again, that's kind of the process of trading. You analyze, create a watch list, keep an eye on the watch list as they develop, wait for the entry and the confidence to be met, take the trade, manage the trade, and then exit. And that's the process, rinse and repeat. And whilst you're waiting for them to develop, waiting for more info, waiting for your confidence to set, all you need to do really is, well, it depends on the time frames you're looking at, is check the charts when you have your intervals. For me, when I have the time, I'm checking the charts every 4 hours, 4 hours, because that's when the 4-hour candles will close. So that's when I'll check the chart. But if I know I've got nothing coming up, then I probably won't check the charts until later in the evening, because there's no point in me wasting my time and getting sucked into trades that I don't need to take. So I'll check the trades in the evening. But if there's something that's close, because I know I'm taking entries on the 4-hour candlestick, I'll wait every 4 hours and take a look. But if you're waiting for something to brew up, then all you have to do is stay patient and wait for those confidence to be met. And effectively, that's kind of the hardest part of trading because you know, taking the right trades is not necessarily the hard part. It's not taking the rubbish trades in between of something that just doesn't make any sense and something just because you're bored. If you can get rid of those trades there, you'd be leaps ahead of a lot of people. But yeah, gold shorts look good to me as well. 26.30. Aussie CAD haven't really spoke about. Whereabouts are you looking to short Aussie CAD from? Tom, well, let us know. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Aussie CAD, just a bit more of a choppy pair at the moment. But yeah, if you're looking to short, let us know. I mean, 0.926 or 0.925, I don't mind. Back into that low or roughly that high there. 0.92, yeah, 0.926. But I can see because Aussie CAD it broke structure here. So I think that's something you probably noted. So now you're looking for that lower high somewhere and then push down. Maybe push even back to the high there on the left. Kind of form like a big head and shoulder pattern. Something like that is possible. But yeah, let me know where you're looking to short from. Kojo, as a swing trade, how many pairs do you have on your watch list? Well, in terms of my watch list, in terms of the pairs I'm looking to trade, it ranges, but between 4 and 6, 4 and 7, very rarely any more than that. And my watch list is normally pairs that I'm looking to trade for the next week. So on the weekend, I'll analyze all the markets I look at, and I'll create a watch list for the new week. And that's roughly between like 4 and 6 pairs, 4 and 7 pairs I'm looking at. And I'm kind of just waiting for them to give me the signal, waiting for a couple more confluences to be met before I do take the trade. So yeah, altogether I look at like 30, 31 pairs, but I keep it quite small when it comes to the watch list. Same way you broke it down, it's like you read my mind. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to technical analysis, we're all kind of doing the same thing. Really, people have different techniques and call it different names. But in terms of market structure, it's the same thing. We're all looking at the major swing points, highs and lows. Some people call it this, some people call it that, but effectively, we're looking at highs and lows, and we're looking at effective areas to sell and buy the market. Fibonacci kind of encompasses it well because 50% is kind of like the market's retraced to equilibrium. If it goes a little bit higher than that, you expect to snap back down. If it hasn't quite reached the 50 yet, it might push a little bit higher. But effectively, we're looking for a pullback of this move for the market to continue. So we're effectively looking at different things. You can use different strategies for it. But at the end of the day, if you're going to sell where the market goes down from, then you make money. And if you're going to buy where the market goes up from, you make money, no matter how you got to that conclusion. But yeah, that's something I would be looking at as well, Tom. I'm not the biggest fan of Aussie CAD, but if I was looking to trade it, that's the setup I'd be looking at too. For me, it's just, I mean, with Aussie CAD as well, some of the Aussie pair too. So I'm hoping that Aussie CAD does play out for you because that will mean Aussie will be weak. And that will help out my Aussie CHF position, which is actually looking pretty good despite not really moving well since the big drop. Because this move here has been pretty corrective on the way up. It's not like we've hit the support here and just completely just spun to the upside. We did have originally a pretty nice reaction, but the market is still really corrective here. So I do expect us to start bleeding pretty soon. I think if we can get a nice 4-hour close outside of that channel, that will be the catalyst to get things really moving. Yeah, Aussie Chef looking good. Stop loss is just above the high, where the break even is. So Not a lot of wiggle room left, but if it can maintain it, that'll be good, and hopefully a nice drop. And then pound yen, I'm looking for a miracle here because it's been so close to my stop loss, but I do expect us to drop. It looks like the other yen pairs are getting ready for the move. I mean, sound like a crazy man because I've always been speaking about the yen pairs moving down, but they haven't been doing that. But a lot of them are some key critical areas where if they do start breaking through, then I'll look to throw that bias away. But for now, they're still respecting key areas. So if they can maintain that, I do think there's a big move down in store for these yen pairs. Hopefully I'm there for the ride with pound yen. And if not, of course, we'll take the SL and move on. It's just a trade at the end of the day. Any things with calibration, gold and silver, no problem, happy to help. If someone is having a small account, would you advise to trade with funding firms or to trade your own account? I'd say both, if you can manage both. Because again, my always recommendation since the beginning of this channel is always being prioritize your personal capital, your own account, even if it's very, very small, even if it's the smallest amount the broker allow you to deposit. Even though it would be difficult to trade in terms of correct risk management and lot sizing. But at least you've got that account, to your name. That the money inside of there is yours. So you want to have that personal account because at the end of the day, you might make a mistake, you might lose account with a funding firm, and then all your income is now potentially gone. If you lose the account, whereas with your personal account, you've always got that account there. Of course, if you blow it, you blow it. But with a funding company, you have strict management rules. With a personal capital, if you want to lose 50% in a day, you can do as well. So the personal is the most important thing, but I would also recommend using funding firms as well as a way to grow that personal quicker, or just a diversification as a alternate way to make money as well. So I recommend both, but your personal account should be your main focus, and then you can use firms to help grow that. Manzondi, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Welcome. Emmanuel, what's up? Yen pairs on the small time frame have begun to sell. I mean, CAD J1 sells. Nice. I just talked about CAD Yen. I do like CAD Yen to the downside. Really nice rejection off that high. Again, the key thing I said for CAD Yen, at least for my bearish bias in the higher time frames, because for CAD Yen, I'm still looking for this massive drop to continue. As I've said, I'm looking at this as a correction before the market continues. So now that we're holding on to this high here, this is where I'm expecting us to sell off from. So effectively, you're in a really nice place for a short, really nice place. And now the market looks like it's putting in a lower high, higher high, now a lower high. As long as we can maintain that, I do think we're getting ready for a big drop. Where's your targets for the trade? How far are you looking to take it? Is there like an intraday position where you're looking for a move back into these areas, or you're looking for a big swing, something like that? Back to maybe down here. Let me know what you're looking at. But in terms of the location, I really like it. I think we're getting ready for a big move down for all of the yen pairs, really. But CAD yen looks good. I have to say, CAD yen looks good. I've been bullish on yen pairs this week. Took one win, one loss. Now I'm actually watching that. Okay, they're short-term bullish, but slowly lose momentum to the upside. And when they fall, they're brutal. So that's true. When they fall, they are brutal. Wait for them to further info on them. Yeah, that's a smart move. If you're unsure about something, about the market, in terms of, especially about bias, because bias is the important thing. If you know, okay, the market is likely to be bullish or likely to be bearish, then all you need to do is just wait for your entries and wait for your confidence for the buy and sell. That's relatively the easy part because you know exactly what you're looking for. But in terms of coming up with bias, that's where that's where the hard work is done, because you're looking for a good opportunity in the market. And if the bias in the direction isn't clear, then there is no point trading it. And of course, it will be clear for some people and not clear for some others as well. Just because someone has a very concrete bias and something doesn't mean you have to have it as well until it makes sense to you. But yeah, with the yen pairs, you're right. We've been bullish over the past couple of weeks with this momentum, but now that we've come back into this high, it's starting to stall and starting to fail, and we've seen the bears step back into control. I do think that's the tipping point, and we're likely to have that big sell. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for these yen pairs. And of course, maybe I'm wrong as well. Maybe the market is gonna push higher. But if I'm looking to get involved with the yen pairs, it's definitely a sell. If I'm looking to buy the yen pairs, and I need them to really break structure. I need CAD yen to really just break. It doesn't have to be that big of a move, but it has to commit to the upside, and then I'll start looking at some pullbacks and some higher lows, and so on and so forth. So I need to see something like that to indicate to me, okay, not respecting the highs, or still maintaining the bullish trend, or still seeing momentum. Then of course I will look to get involved for longs. But for now, still respecting the high. So the bearish bias remains until proven otherwise. And that's really how I solidify a bias and how I change a bias. Because what you want to do is you want to have a bias, and then you want to have something in place that if this happens, then I'll change the bias. Because it makes everything very, very straightforward. Because I remember with myself, I used to have a bias in the market, and then something will happen, just like a strong bullish candle, and then that will make me change my bias. But it's more to do an emotional. It's more because the candle's really big, so it just makes you emotional, and you think, okay, no, it's not going up, it's going down, or vice versa. So what you want to do is you want to have a bias, and then have something in place that will change that bias. Either structure breaking, or level breaking, or trend line breaking, or moving average breaking, or moving average crossover. You want to have something in place that is black and white, that will keep you in that bias or make you change that bias. Once you've got that in place, then trading becomes a lot simpler. Because once the bias is still at play, for example, say you're bearish, then you're just looking for areas to short from that of course fit the plan. And until you've proven otherwise, until your bias is broken, and then you can look for your longs again. Okay, intraday. Where's your target, Emmanuel, for the position? Or do you have a target, or are you trading? What's my predicted outcome for CPI? I'm expecting a bullish dollar, but again, it's more to do with technicals, not necessarily fundamentals. I do think we can see more upside in the dollar. That's kind of where I'm at with USD. Again, that's just my thinking. I don't have a USD trade open, so it's not like I've got skin in the game. At least with USD, I've got trades in pound yen and Aussie CHF, but not USD. But that's kind of what I'm expecting with USD, some strength off the back of NFP from last week as well. I think we can continue that. But really, again, with news, I'm always just open-minded, just ready to see what the market gives us, because I'm a technical-based trader. So really what my focus is wait for the news to happen, and then see how price action reacts and how price action forms. And then from that, I will make my decisions in terms of what I'm looking to do next. But I kind of expect USD strength for now, and we'll see how that maps out. And to be honest, USD strength will be good for me as well, because if USD is strong, most of the time you'll see yen be strong as well, and CHF be strong too. So that will help me out with my pound yen shorts, and that will help me out with my Aussie CHF shorts as well. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of momentum there. It needs to keep up. I need it to break the low. But yeah, it's taken its sweet time. Been over a week now with this trade. Got in last Tuesday. Pound yen is almost 2 weeks, so don't get me started on this one. But yeah, the yen pairs slowly bleeding. But the key thing is as well is with the yen pairs, as Tom touched on as well, is that when the yen pairs do drop, they can be very brutal. If you look back in time, if you look at the yen pairs when they do move up, it normally takes them twice as long to move up the same distance as when they fall. So when they do fall, they normally fall with heavy punches. So if you're in the right direction and the market does see a down move, it should happen pretty smoothly, um, and pretty quickly as well. So hopefully, if the yen pairs decide they do want to fall, hopefully, even though I've been in the trade for 2 weeks, within a couple of days, I could be well into profit, if things go correctly. So so yeah, I don't mind selling because if I'm correct with the sell, it can play out very quickly, even though it's just been sideways for a while. So we'll see what happens with that. In terms of any other markets, I'm not really looking to get involved until after the news. Really, I mean, not get involved, but in terms of making decisions, because I know with the USD, I'm looking at euro for potential longs in here and Aussie dollar for potential longs, but I'm not going to enter before the news because I know things can change, and then I'll see how things look, and then maybe there might be some entries there. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to wait till after news before that, and of course, I don't really want to add a USD pair fresh going into CPI as well, with 2 trades open at the moment as well. So wait for CPI. I don't think we have any other big news events for the rest of the week. Let me just go and double check that. We had FMC minutes yesterday. Then today we got CPI at 130. That's the big one. Tomorrow, a bit GDP there for pound. Unemployment rate for CAD. Okay, that could be a bit interesting there. Suspected to go up. And then you got PPI for USD in the afternoon, 130. So maybe a bit of movement there, but nothing's big as CPI though. And then next week, Monday, not much. Tuesday, got pound unemployment rate, CPI for CAD. Wednesday, pound inflation rate. Thursday, CPI for euro. Okay, interest rate decision for euro there as well. And not much Friday. So yeah, it's not much next week as well. Maybe a few inflation rates to keep an eye out. JPY inflation rate, that could be a big one next Friday. A few unemployment rates as well, and then euro interest rate decision. But yeah, for this week, just CPI really. Maybe a bit of USD news tomorrow as well. What will happen to gold? Isn't that the question? As I spoke about gold, I think some brief shorts look good around 26.30, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, 26.30. I think shorts look good there if you can pull up there again and take some to the downside. Maybe CPI can push us up there and then we get the sell later on. But yeah, right now gold is a little bit stale, a little bit sideways. I wouldn't look to get involved in this. It looks like it's just crying out for the news to happen. Might see a bit of wicks up and down. Then we might push up and get the sell. Emmanuel, I love CAD pairs, selling CAD CHF, also training stops. Okay, like CAD pairs. You selling CAD CHF at the moment? Is you in that trade? Manny, how do you manage overnight charges for holding Forex and all over CFDs for weeks? I use IG and the overnight charges are too much. Well, I trade with IC markets. they're not bad, but you can't negate it completely. Well, you can do that. There are some brokers that do offer accounts which are swap free, but you make up the payment elsewhere in terms of commissions, in terms of spread as well. So you have to take that into consideration. But yeah, I mean, it's just a part. The way I see it is just a part of the game. It's a charge you pay for the game, for trading. Um, I mean, you can tiptoe around it in terms of, for example, pound yen. Swaps are pretty heavy with pound yen if you're selling them and holding it overnight. So if that's the case, then don't swing trade pound yen overnight selling. Um, for me, I don't mind it as much. Sure, it's not great, and it will eat into the profits a little bit, but it's not to a big enough extent where I'll start to worry about it. Um, yeah, it's not big enough for me to worry about. It's not great, but it's not big enough for me to worry about it. With exotics, though, yeah, exotics can be a bit hefty, so I would avoid exotics completely if you're looking to swing. Um, if you're buying, but yeah, with me, I just look at it as a charge to the game, like a commission almost. And then of course some trades I'm holding, and there's positive swap. Of course, the positive swap is never as much as the negative swap, but at least the positive, I'm making money there as well a little bit. So yeah, the way I see it is just the charge of holding the position. And again, if you want to completely avoid it, just don't trade those pairs with the heavy swaps. Pound yen, it's not great, but I don't mind it, to be honest. It's not big enough for me to completely remove it from my trading, because if it is, then I wouldn't trade it. But then again, I didn't expect to be in the trade for 2 weeks, to be honest. It just kind of happened. But yeah, swaps is definitely something to think about, and that's one of the benefits of day trading as well. No swap costs, um, and pairs like pound yen can be heavy hitters if you're shorting. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's difficult to get around, and the best way to get around it, if you don't want to pay the swap cost, is just to not trade it. There are other markets you can trade. There are other opportunities in the market. But if you don't want to pay it, then yeah, just don't look to trade it. But the way I see it as well is, sure, I'm paying swap costs here for pound yen, but over the course of a year, I will be holding positions where I will be gaining positive swap. And by the end of the year, I don't expect the positive swap to cancel out the negative swap, but I do expect the positive swap to eat a chunk out of the negative swap. So it's not as bad as it seems, because I'll be selling and buying throughout the year, paying negative, paying positive. It's not going to balance out. I know the negative will be a lot more, but at least it will reduce it by hopefully a decent amount. So I look at it that way as well. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye with pound yen. I mean, the sooner the better it can play out. Really, that would be nice, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, CPI can give it a bit of a kick. We don't have any JPY news until next Friday. At least big JPY news until next Friday anyway. So we're going to have to wait patiently for that. Is anyone trading their indices? Indices have been pretty bullish. S&P as well, new highs there. That's why I really like NAS, because NAS has still got a long way to go to get back to the high. Because these indices, especially the US ones, they kind of move with each other. If one's going to make all-time highs, normally the other two will make all-time highs as well. So I'm expecting NAS to push back to the high pretty soon. It's taking its time, but yeah, I expect us to make that move. I mean, it'd be best if you can break the high and get the retest above it. But what we might get is a retest of this area and then the push. But yeah, I wouldn't look to trade US 30 or S&P anymore, because now we're back at the high, creating new highs. Now I'm expecting sellers to step into the market and of course buyers to take profit. So not the best time to be getting involved there, really. How is JP225 looking? Okay, looks like we're sort of trying to break through the high there. So if this one can come back underneath that low, underneath that high, then the yen pair should be in for a nice move. If we bounce, then yeah, maybe the yen pairs are going to stay strong and we're going to push on. But if we get the break, I think the yen pairs are going to go for a nice drop. How's the yen basket doing? Are we still holding on to the low? Sort of breaking through, but we need to get back above that if we're going to see some upside. Because I was originally looking for the bounce when we had that big test there, but then it broke through. So if we are going to push up, I do need to see us break back underneath this for the buy. But we'll see. What's up, eStream? Hope you're doing good. Any markets you're looking at, let us know. To be fair, I don't mind the CAD pairs. But the way I see it, CAD and USD are quite similar as well, which is why USD CAD is quite choppy. So if there's a good buy on NZD CAD, there's normally a good buy on NZD USD. So I'd rather trade NZD USD rather than NZD CAD. So when I see an opportunity in a CAD pair, it's very similar to a USD pair, like pound CAD, pound USD, very similar. NZD CAD, NZD USD, Aussie CAD, Aussie USD, Euro CAD, Euro USD, very similar. But sometimes EuroCAD might have the better price action, so I will trade EuroCAD rather than Euro USD. But predominantly speaking, they move in the same direction, and I like the majors, so I normally will trade Euro USD. But if EuroCAD has a good price action, risk reward looks good, I'll sometimes take that trade instead. Seems like a false breakout. Well, on the yen basket, yeah, it does. It does. It looks like price is kind of just dilly-dallying underneath. Possibly getting ready for a move down. So the key thing I want to see is price breaking back above, because that's the key thing. Because right now it's in the potential. It's in the potential. It is potentially a false breakout, or it's potentially a breakout. If it is false, I want to see us get back above 6,500, and then we're really in the talks. If we do respect and come back down, then yeah, I'll rest my case. Maybe yen is going to keep falling, and maybe pound yen and the rest of the yen pairs are going to move up. But if we push up, great, get back above 6,500, then yeah, I'm expecting us to push right back to the highs here. And that will hopefully help out my pound yen trade. But still a long way to go. So I'm not going to be checking the charts every 5 minutes to see if the yen pairs are moving. Give it space. Like I said, I will be live again later today with Nick on his channel. So if you guys want to see my reaction to CPI and see how they're looking on my positions, make sure you tune in for that. But it looks like price is trying to break the low as well. So hopefully Aussie Chef can keep that up, get a solid daily close, 4-hour close below. And I reckon that would be the catalyst for a big move down. Yeah, I agree. Strong momentum. Could be a nasty liquidation of the weak buyers. And we might see a crazy yen move. Yeah, very true. And that's kind of what I'm banking on, to be fair. Not banking, but that's kind of what I'm expecting with the yen pairs, because they've been a bit stale. The yen pairs, they do that. They kind of move a little bit sideways, a little bit kind of in the shadows a little bit, and then out of nowhere they're just moving like uh like it's doomsday. They're moving crazy. They have those moments, the yen pairs, which is why people don't like trading them, because they're very volatile when they do get moving. But they do have those moments where they're just a little bit sideways and they suck you in. And then it has that big move. So I'm kind of expecting that to happen, especially because it's shorts as well. And the shorts are always a kicker. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I've been saying that for the past 2 weeks now, so can kind of keep that up. As I've always said, I've got the stop loss above the high, so the risk is already pre-planned. Worst case scenario, I take the loss there. In terms of the other yen pairs, these yen pairs are climbing back into some real key levels. Euro yen still respecting that high. New Zealand yen respect the high a while ago, but now it's kind of formed a bit of a range here. So with New Zealand yen, if you can break that low, I think that's what starts the party and gets us going. Aussie yen looked really good, even though it's broken that high a little bit. Because it's so corrective, I do expect us to break to the downside, get that correction, and then get that drop. So I like Aussie yen as well, but we really need to break through this trend line here to really get the ball rolling. Dollar yen coming to a really nice high, respecting it pretty well. That could really get us rolling there too. Swiss yen trading at the high. This one needs to break underneath 172.5 to really get the ball rolling there as well. Because at the moment, we're kind of doing what the yen basket is doing, which is just about trading above the high. We need to be breaking below it if we're going to get the sell. So it's going to be an interesting kind of 24, 48 hours with the yen pairs. I still do have that high time frame bias, which is why I've still been bearish. But if price breaks through and things change, of course, I'll let you guys know if I change the bias. But for now, yeah, expecting us to see that push. And again, that's the difference as well with the intraday time frames and the higher. Because in the meantime, there has been some really nice buys, and I know some of you taking some nice buys. I think Tom, you took a nice buy on the pound yen. So there has been some nice buys on the way up here intraday. But because of the move I'm looking for and because of the higher time frames, that's kind of where my focus is for now. All right, Will, have a good one, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, waiting for Aussie dollar. Yeah, I think keep an eye out for the CPI because that could kickstart Aussie dollar, or it might push it down a little bit further. Then we can look at some buys around 0.664. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on Aussie dollar. I like it as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens with these yen pairs. But I do like trading them. I know people have their things with yen, and rightly so. If you're not careful, they can definitely punish you for it. Same with gold. Same with the indices, really, as well. And that's where the experience and practice comes in. But all you have to do is start slow. If you're not used to the yen pairs, if you normally risk, $50 a trade or whatever you risk per trade, reduce it to half to $25 or $10. And then you can build your stamina as you go along. You don't have to go in heavy in the first trade, or take your time. But yeah, I do like the yen pairs to the downside as well. Hopefully we can see that pan out. So yeah, I was looking just to manage pound yen, manage Aussie CHF, and I'll look to see what happens with Aussie dollar after the news on CPI. That's kind of where I'm at in terms of my planning. So Aussie CHF is starting to bleed there. Go on, Aussie. Seeing some weakness out of nowhere. Is this happening across the board for Aussie pairs, or is this CHF strength? CHF and CHF is falling. Pound CHF falling a little bit. CAD CHF falling pretty hard there. Looks like CAD is a bit weak as well. And Euro CHF seeing some downside, so it does look like CHF's a bit strong. Dollar CHF pushing down there as well. How's the Aussie pairs doing? Not much in Aussie dollar. Aussie yen, a bit of downside there. Aussie CAD's actually a bit bullish. That tells me CAD's very weak too. And then Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie pushing up there. So it looks like Aussie's a bit weak, but I think CHF is pretty strong. So that's kind of helping me out right now. But yeah, the key thing I want to see is the candle closure below that trend line, breaking out this channel. If we can get a solid candle closure, then I think that's what the drop we're looking at. It's sort of similar to this, although it didn't play out pretty well. We saw a nice candle closure there, and that's kind of why that's the entry candle I had. We had the ascending channel here, similar to that ascending channel. Nice breakout candle closure. Got the entry, but then price kind of messed around for a little bit before the drop happened. Possibly we could do that. CHF is a bit of a choppy currency pair, but hopefully now, because we had a big drop there, hopefully now it's just no nonsense and we get going. But yeah, the key thing I'll be looking for is the close. And then if you can get a push down and it breaks the low here, then I'll trail above the high here, and so on and so forth. If you create more structure, I'll then trail again. And if you can get to the low here, I'll call it a day, take the profit, and possibly start looking for longs if I see some nice rejection, because it is such a critical swing low. So I wouldn't even mind the longs there. So yeah. Anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. Like I said, I will be live again tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on my channel as always. But I will be live again later today in the afternoon with Trader Nick on his channel. So if you guys want to see more of my analysis, see what happens with my positions, if I get into any new positions as well, what happens with CPI too, feel free to pop into that stream. That will be in his channel around 1:30 UK time, 1:45 UK time. But if you guys have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out, guys, and do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far and subscribed as well. Make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future as well. And of course, make sure you check out Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link at the top of the chat. Discount opportunities will be there. And of course, you can join the discussions about trading opportunities and what you're looking at. And I'll be there to chat with you guys as well. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Link is at the top of the chat. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great Thursday. Stay safe with the news, and I'll catch you all in the next one.